Injuries are part of every professional athlete's career. Sprained ankles, knee injuries, cuts and bruises are all part of the game. However, some athletes suffer devastating injuries that end up seriously altering the course of their careers. Some of them could never get back on that level and were forced to retire early. Others were forced to alter their game and changed their role on the team, and a few of them have managed to overcome the injuries completely and went on to have decent careers. Greg Oden. Greg Oden was the number 1 pick of the Portland Trail Blazers in the 2007 NBA Draft. An athlete with remarkable defensive skills and massive offensive potential, Greg Oden was clearly the best player in the draft, which also featured players like Kevin Durant, Al Horford, Joakim Noah, and Mike Conley. You can't blame the Trailblazers for their pick, as in 2007, the NBA was still dominated by big men. Shaquille O'Neal and Tim Duncan had claimed 8 of the last 9 NBA championships, and with O'Neal and Duncan getting older, drafting Oden was the obvious choice, with the prospect of raising him into one of the best big men to dominate the NBA in the years to come. However, Greg Oden suffered a devastating knee injury in the summer before the start of his NBA career, which took him out for the whole season. Big men find it difficult to come back from leg injuries, so the next year, the Trailblazers took extra care of the player, bringing him in slowly. Oden played only 20 minutes per game and started only 39 of the 62 games he played. He averaged only 9 points, 7 rebounds, and a block per game. In his 3rd season, after playing only 21 games, Oden suffered another knee injury from which he never recovered. In the next few years, Oden underwent a total of 7 knee surgeries and didn't play in the league until the 2013-2014 season when the Miami Heat signed him. However, his knees didn't hold up, and he ended up playing only 21 games for the Heat, averaging only 9 minutes per game. That was the last time we saw Oden in the NBA, and one of the biggest prospects the NBA has ever seen was labeled a complete bust. Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose got drafted as the number 1 pick in 2008 by the Chicago Bulls. The super athletic point guard took the league by storm, and he averaged 17 points and 6 assists in his first season, which was more than enough to win him the Rookie of the Year award. Derrick Rose was known for his exceptional toughness, and he ended up playing 81 games in the season, averaging 37 minutes per game. In his 2nd season, Rose improved his numbers all the way to 21 points per game and was one of the hottest young prospects in the NBA. His vertical jumps made him a fan favorite, and he was becoming a superstar in the NBA, playing 78 games in the season, averaging almost 37 minutes per game. In his 3rd season, he continued his growth and improvement as a basketball player, and he became the youngest MVP in NBA history at just 22 years old, when he surpassed LeBron James to win the MVP award in 2011, averaging 25 points and 8 assists in 81 games played that season. However, his career was struck by a devastating setback in 2012 when he suffered a tear in his ACL, which is a particularly challenging injury for athletes like Rose, known for their explosiveness and athleticism. The road to recovery was both physically and mentally demanding, and it took Rose a year and a half to return to the NBA court, where he was ecstatic to perform again. However, only 2 months into the season, he suffered a meniscus injury which forced him to have another surgery. The injuries took a toll on Rose, and he was unable to reach the height of his potential as a superstar. Nevertheless, his relentless effort and determination have paid off, as he has played 14 seasons in the NBA to date. Rose has adapted to his changing abilities, incorporating a floater into his game instead of relying on crowd-pleasing dunks and adding a reliable three-point shot to his arsenal. His basketball IQ and dedication have kept him in the league, but the injuries have stripped him of his superstar status. Since 2016, Derrick Rose has never played more than 51 games in a season and has never averaged more than 27 minutes per game. Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid was drafted 3rd overall by the Philadelphia 76ers in the 2014 NBA Draft, right behind Andrew Wiggins and Jabari Parker. Embiid was by far the most promising prospect of the draft, but because he suffered an injury before the draft, the teams were getting flashbacks of the Greg Oden situation and were reluctant to give him a chance. A stress fracture to the navicular bone in his right foot is a very tricky injury and could have had lingering effects for his whole career if it didn't heal properly. After 2 years of watching on the sidelines, in the season of 2016-2017, Embiid finally had the chance to play in the NBA. He was put on a minutes restriction of 28 minutes and wasn't allowed to play in back-to-back games. Despite all of that, Embiid was averaging 20 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 blocks per game before his season was cut short due to a meniscus tear that required surgery. Having played only 31 games in his first 3 seasons, Joel Embiid's career was once again on thin ice, and the comparisons with Greg Oden resurfaced. He was forced to sign an NFL-like contract, which meant Embiid had to stay on the court in order to get paid by the Sixers. He bet on himself, and it worked out. In the next 2 seasons, he played 63 and 64 games respectively, averaging 31 and 34 minutes per game. After his return, Embiid averaged 23 points, 11 rebounds, and 2 blocks per game, and upgraded those numbers all the way to 27 points, 14 rebounds, and 2 blocks the next season. He also continuously worked on his game and has improved as a basketball player in every single season he has been in the league. However, his injury-prone status in the league never seemed to get away. In the 2020-2021 season, he suffered another meniscus tear. He gritted his teeth and played the final 2 months of the regular season and playoffs despite immense pain. However, his team once again failed short of expectations, and he had a long summer of rehab and recovery ahead of him. Embiid didn't let the injuries bring him down, both physically and mentally. He came into the next season stronger than ever, and he was one of the best players in the NBA, averaging a career-high 31 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 blocks per game. He averaged almost 34 minutes per game in 68 games and was a runner-up for the MVP award. Joel Embiid seems to have figured out his body and remains one of the best players in the league. The season-ending serious injuries seem to be a thing of the past, and they have not affected his abilities in any manner. This season, he is projected to play 68 games once again, and so far he is averaging a ridiculous 34 points per game, with 10 boards and 4 assists to go with it. Joel Embiid is a superstar in the NBA and one of the favorites to win the MVP for the season. If you like our content, hit the like button and subscribe for more videos. The NBA seriously started investing in sports science, and the health of the players in the league became a priority. The NBA cut down on the back-to-back games, as the science shows the risk of injuries is much greater. The teams nowadays have their own personal chefs, a complete team of conditional trainers, and nutritional experts. However, statistics show, despite all the effort, the amount of injuries remains the same. Even with all the modern advancements in technology, doctors still can't find a way to prevent serious, career-altering injuries like ACL or Achilles tears. However, with the amount of money the players are getting paid these days, cutting down on injuries remains a priority for everyone. The NBA is a superstar-driven league. The players sell the product and enhance the profile of the league, so if they are able to spend more time on the court, that would be a benefit to all. The NBA will continue to work together with the players, the owners of the team, and the doctors in order to achieve that task.